We've got a couple people here. Yay! All right. So,
Hey.
welcome to episode 7 of Comic Book Team Up with Justin. This way. This is confusing me. So we are doing Wonder Woman Dead Earth.
Yes.
Which is a favorite of mine. So I'm really excited that Justin has finally read it, because I put it on the list when we first discussed Comic Book Team Up. So yeah, this is really exciting.
That's a really nice
say
hardcover.
Hello to. It's really cool. It looks so nice under the dust jacket as well. Like, that's really pretty.
Oh, I'm gonna have to own that. I need to buy my copy.
Yeah, and like, look at the little, like, she's in the little flat bit there. Like,
yeah, I love it.
It's great. We'll say hi to our friends in the chat. So we've got Hen here, and we of course have
Sheena,
the queen of my heart, Sheena. Do we have anyone else? No one else has said anything, but it says we've got more than them watching, which is nice. All right. Oh, I clicked on one. There we go. Sorry, I've got my phone on. That's why you can see my hand doing the awkward, like.
Oh yeah, no, you're good.
Right. So. We're just talking quickly while I was making my cup of tea backstage about how Daniel Warren Johnson, I keep saying Darren, how his work reads like an indie. So I thought that was kind of like a good place to start with your kind of overall thoughts of the book. Justin?
Yeah, sure. So I definitely do not have much experience with reading a ton of Wonder Woman, you know, a specific Diana. Like I always say this, but like even DC, like up until actually I really feel like, I mean, it was Nightwing that really did it, but I feel like even up until just like really connecting with you and some of the other, you know, community members over on Instagram, you've definitely inspired me to dive into so much just in general, but DC definitely being, you know, a big factor to a lot of that. And I think it's just because you have all these gorgeous hardcovers behind you that I'm like, oh, I want to, what's that? Yeah.
What are these?
I just want to read all of those. They just look awesome. So I didn't know much. Hey, what's up, John? Yeah. Hey, look, my back-to-back shows here. So Wonder Woman is certainly a character other than the movies, which I really enjoy the films, and especially the more recent ones that have come out. That's really all I know about her as a character. I don't know a lot of like popular storylines or you know, things like that have come out all through, you know, the Golden Age and Silver Age and all these other classics. But with all that being said, as you just mentioned, like, and I was telling you backstage, I read this a little bit more as a indie type of comic, where I felt that you definitely didn't need to know anything, you know, going into this. There are some little things of, you know, Batman and stuff that we'll get into that you see, but obviously I know those, you know, those characters and things like that. So Inja, you're not late. You're good.
Don't worry. We just love that you're here.
Yes. That to me, reading this right off the bat, it was definitely easy in terms of just getting into. And I would say straight up, anyone who hasn't read this yet and feels like they wouldn't like it because they're not into DC or they're not into the character Wonder Woman or anything like that, I would still highly recommend taking time to read this, and I would think that you would really enjoy it. So again, just from my own personal experience with it, I am a huge fan of this book that we're about to talk to. So if I had to grade it, I mean, it's a high 9s. You know, if I'm doing like a out of 10 or, you know, a 9.6, you know, like it's so up there for me. So overall, really enjoyed it. I will say, and I know we'll get into the artwork and stuff. It did take me a little time to really get into the artwork. I wasn't in love with it at first, but I didn't hate it either. So it's just something that I had to kind of get into as I was diving more into the story. By the end of it, I feel like it's just perfect for this story and for what it told, you know. So I've definitely come around to it as well. But what were your initial thoughts? I know this is not, obviously you read this when this first came out, right?
Pardon? Yeah, I did. I read it in there. Well, I read it just after it finished publishing, because Jen from Comics Will Break Your Heart, okay, thank you. Jen from Comics Will Break Your Heart was like raving about it. I think in one of her hauls that she did on Instagram, maybe, or it was a video that she was raving about it in, and she just picked up the last issue. So I went and dug them out of a comic book shop and binged them, and obviously fell in love with them. And then I obviously had to get my local to get me the hardback, because I think, it might have been when the hardback came out, maybe, because I have a memory of Jen also having like 2 copies of the hardback because she loved it so much.
That's
so yeah,
great.
Yeah, and I remember Nat from DC Comic Queen. She was also, as it was coming out, talking about it as well, and I kept seeing it pop up. And I think she said like issue 3 really threw her for a loop. So yeah.
I love Nat. She's great.
Hold on, look, we've got lots of comics.
Comments.
Sheena. And yeah, interestingly, we, as you sort of discussed, like with Sheena, for example, you know how you said you don't really need to know a lot about the lore or anything to like get into the story, just because of the way that Daniel Warren Johnson kind of writes it. Same with, we did sort of just quickly mention it when we were talking backstage, but same with his Beta Ray Bill story. You actually don't need to know anything about Beta Ray Bill to love the story, because it's such a great story, and the art and the way he writes is just really, really good. So just like an indie, it's just really, really readable and stuff like that.
Totally.
We've also got Team Nerd
What's up, Steve?
Here as well.
Nice.
I love how everyone says hi to each other in the chat.
All the friends. Heck yeah.
All friends. Yes. Okay. All right. We're caught up now. Oh yeah. Let's see. Sheena just going on about one of her many husbands, Beta Ray Bill. Yeah.
One of her many husbands.
We've got little Beta Ray up behind me somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah, can you see? With little.
Oh my gosh, I love
like
your pop game has been on point, Victoria.
Oh, I know.
Your pop game has been on point.
Like,
it's out of control. It's awesome. Look at it.
Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah, it does.
Very nice.
Cool.
Do you keep the boxes?
One of my reels. I do. I have I keep a lot of them downstairs. I've got them stacked in this old. It used to be in my bathroom, and then I didn't like it in the bathroom, so I put it downstairs. And then so I just started like shoving them in there, because it was really like this weird deep thing. So yeah, I just started stacking them in there. But then the ones that are just like super, I don't know, there's some boxes that I just chuck out. I just think like, I don't care, this one can go in the bin, not a big deal. Or I get quite a lot secondhand, so I often just chuck out those boxes because I don't care. Sorry, I'm just finishing my tea.
You were saying something about someone left a comment.
Oh yes, someone left a comment on my, I think it was I forget his first name, unfortunately, because you know everyone by their handles. But Empire Comics, he commented saying, "Oh shit, I thought this was in a shop. I didn't realize this was in your house."
You got the setup.
Yes.
Love it.
So that kind of threw me for a loop. I was
he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's so lovely, honestly. Yeah. He's so nice. And I was talking to Steve last night as well, and I showed him this little shelf that I have in my lounge, because we were talking about like Legends figures, Marvel Legends figures, because unfortunately now a lot of where's my hand? There. A lot of them are like catching my eye, and I'm like,
Steve knows a lot about that stuff.
Yeah. That's a great thing about this community, right? Is we're here to talk about comics, but there's so many people that know about other great stuff. But anyway, back to Wonder Woman Dead Earth. You said how you didn't love the art like straight away, and to be honest, like that was one of the reasons that when this book first got solicited, that I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to pick that one up, because up to that point I had just been getting all of the big like magazine size Black Label books, just because I'm a big fan of like out of continuity stories. Because I am lazy and I don't want to have to do all of the back reading all of the time.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Because, well, I don't know that it's because I'm lazy. I like to think that I'm lazy, but I think it's because I like to read so many things that I don't want to have to go back and like read, like 200 issues to figure out all the lore and understand what's happening. So but I kind of was like, I'm not 100% about this art, so I think I'm gonna give it a miss. Which was obviously a mistake, and I was lucky that I managed to pick up all the singles, because I kind of got on board like straight after. But I just think like when you kind of look at like the covers, you kind of think like like it's interesting, it's different from anything else that we have on the market, but he still manages to just have these beautiful like incredibly detailed, like emotive like panels, like look at that.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Stunning. No,
Yeah.
you're right. There
Do you,
definitely were some like towards the end, like the some of the big, like you were showing, like some of the big splash pages, like at the end of probably all 4 issues. I feel like
yeah,
each of them had like the last like 2 pages of each one had some sort of awesome, artwork of some sort from him that really like that brought me back into it. There, I'm just like, okay, like
yeah,
oh, I love that. I that was
yeah,
something I truly enjoyed. So,
yeah,
yeah, no,
definitely.
that's cool.
Yeah, he
I see.
really nails it. That I think.
I see Jason in the chat, and I was telling Jason about this, and he and I are like he's not as big into DC stuff. He's definitely exploring a lot more of the Marvel stuff, generally speaking.
Yeah,
But this was a book where I was telling him like I think that he would really appreciate it, and yeah, he was saying he binged it and he absolutely loved it. So yeah, I'm glad you took
yeah.
the time to read it, Jason. I knew you would. And next, I have Jason reading Harleen next. So
Yay!
he and I make
Uh,
each other read stuff all
yeah.
the time. So
Oh, that's so cool. I saw quite a lot of people got the Harleen hardback for like Christmas or something because just in the last couple of weeks, I have seen heaps of people reading it. Like,
yeah,
I saw Sade, Sade, how do you say her name?
Sade.
Sade?
Mhm.
Sade. I saw
Sade,
her
yeah.
reading it as well, which just I was like so excited because she's
Yeah.
such a big Harley fan. So I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
my dreams are coming true.
Yeah.
And like I know obviously Sheena loves it. So
Yeah.
yeah. I also saw, yes, we love the Batman. We love the Battinson in this house.
So
So
great. So great. Plus,
yeah,
I
we
just
do.
love t-shirts like red and black. Something about black and red t-shirts I just always love. So
Yeah, totally.
that's another reason.
And it's the like Jim Lee poster for it. So I was just like,
It's
oh, I
awesome.
want to have it because it's black and red and it's the Battinson and it's Jim Lee.
Yep.
Great. So yeah. I was gonna wear my other Wonder Woman t-shirt, but I wore it in that reel yesterday. So I was like, oh, Batman one. That would be appropriate. So yeah. And it is kind of appropriate because we do have that really emotional part. This is the bit that if you saw, there was a comment from Hen saying that she's still not over what happens in this book, but this particular page here is just devastating. Like, and it's not like there's a lot of text or dialogue or anything happening on this page. It's all up to the art and the details, like the little details that are in here, and just how like emotive it all is. So
it was heavy.
Yeah,
heavy.
And then I think that's like one of the hooks, like as you said, like he gets these big splash pages at the end that kind of hook you for the next issue or like the next chapter or whatever, and that's kind of definitely one of them. You're like, ooh, okay, wow. So
yeah,
and it kind of takes you sort of like right into the world and gets you sort of imagining, and this is kind of what I like about the art and the way that he is writing. It kind of gets you imagining, like, even though there's not like much dialogue on the page, but you're sort of imagining like, shit, what have they gone through? Like, oh my god, like, which I really like, because you almost forget that you're reading, which is something that I really love.
Totally. So. And that was the other thing too that I think really got me so into it right away, is the fact that this whole story is like a post-apocalyptic type of theme. Yeah, which is one of my favorite vibes. Like, the future, looking for the future, the world gets wiped out, few survivors, that type of thing. And then to know like Wonder Woman has survived and not sure why she's here or how she got here. Like that whole thing, I was like immediately hooked, and we meet all these different characters, along the way. So it's very heartfelt. I mean, this is just a very heartfelt book for sure.
It is, for sure. What other thoughts did you have on like the other characters that we get introduced to along the way, and kind of like our survivors and sort of their kind of view of Wonder Woman and like that sort of stuff? Because I always thought that was really interesting, kind of how they sort of bring her in and like
so I like that. I like that immediately we get and I'm going to try to remember all their names. I actually did put like some notes together because I wanted to mention like just some of the characters that we really meet here. So I know is this so we have Dee, we have Jonesy, we have E-Dog, who they're all out and they basically get attacked by this Hydra thing, this big monster creature, and then of course get saved by Wonder Woman, who kind of comes out of nowhere. They're all shocked, and trying to put myself in their perspective, I totally get like, one, yes, you're thankful that she saved you, and you were essentially in bad shape to begin with, but you also like don't trust her still, because you don't like obviously they lived through some stuff, and have witnessed like the world destroy itself essentially, and now they're just trying to survive. So I thought it was really like interesting to see these characters, how they kind of took who she was at first, and the fact that they turn her in, essentially they capture her, right, for this the main guy, Théoden, who was like the jerk of the leader jerk of the village, or whatever. But so I just love that whole kind of like scene, the way that they had put that up there. And I think that we get like some really heavy moments with like that guy, Théoden, the one who's kind of, runs things. And, he's like this ruthless, I don't give a crap kind of guy. And just, you do what he says and all this other stuff. And to see his character kind of flip through the book was really interesting as well, because he definitely was someone who, just straight up like the villain, or one of the villains. And to see how Wonder Woman had kind of reacted to him. I wanted to show, like, there's this one scene that really stood out to me that I wanted to mention here. Let me pull up, I have on my iPad here. So this, and I had to read the whole thing digitally, but as you know, I like to do anyways. But so it's this scene here, and it's when they first she kind of gets free. I think it's the second issue in. And D is talking to her, and basically like her plan is to they keep Théoden in jail or whatever, but then she has a plan to like invite him to go with them to to the island. And D's like, why? Like he's been a jerk this entire time, like he's killed a lot of people, he's a bad person, why would you do any of that? And I wanted to read like just a clip from this. And let me see. So they said, so she's talking to D. She's like, seeing the crowd as they walk by. She goes, D says, I don't understand. She goes, don't understand what? She says, you don't know what he's like when he was, or you don't know what he was like when he was in charge, talking about Théoden. He was cruel. He hurt a lot of people here. She goes, I don't doubt that in the slightest. And so she's, D is asking like, what? So then why are you, giving him the benefit of the doubt? He hasn't earned it. She goes, you're right. She goes, I realize it's hard for you to understand, but I am, she goes, I am of the gods, is what Wonder Woman says. He goes, D goes, yeah, whatever that means. And she goes on to say, she says, it means that I am, it means that I am immortal. I have lived for centuries, and when a being is lived that long, they begin to see not as in years, but as in lifetimes. From my vantage point, I see the possibilities for change, even if it takes decades. Théoden didn't start his life, or he started his life a cruel person. Hopefully, with some trust, he won't end his life there. So it like goes into this thing. But to me, that was really significant as a part to just like kind of take away from this book, as like, and this is like I'm getting more like world, or relative to our world, to humanity, is like to think that there are obviously bad people in the world, there are bad guys or whatever, but it's really interesting to like think about viewing someone's lifetime, and obviously for her being a god and living as long as she has, like but to just like say that, and to know like that's where her wisdom comes from, that's where her ability to want to re-give trust to individuals, or have hope that there is hope for individuals. I think it's just a really powerful kind of line at the, and I know I'm sorry if I'm like rambling at this point, but what I'm saying, like it was just such a great, I thought it was such a great kind of perspective, and to understand more on why Wonder Woman is the way she is, the fact that she's lived this long and she's seen people, and she doesn't necessarily judge them based on one current event or something that they did necessarily, but to see how they've grown out through the years. I thought that was really cool. Totally. So
and like those sorts of panels and stuff, and those sorts of character explorations, I think are really important to have, because there's going to be somebody that maybe thinks that they're like a terrible person, or that they've made heaps of mistakes, or like whatever, and to have those sorts of redemptions for like villainous characters is quite important to have in media, because if people identify with a point of view that's a little bit controversial or whatever, and to see that they still have hope to make the right choices, and to see that other people still believe in them and stuff. I think that's really, really powerful, and really, really important to have for like anybody reading, because you know, like, you just never know what people are going through. And like, as Wonder Woman said, like, you know, I'm centuries old and like I'm immortal, and so I'm thinking in lifetimes, and like a lifetime is a really long time. So yeah, that's a lot of time for people to do a lot of different things. So I think it's really, really cool to have in comics, and it's one of the great things about literature and media in general. So
yes, absolutely. So that was definitely like a part I wanted to highlight, as I made sure to take a screenshot of that. Inja. Love you, Inja. That's all I do. I ramble.
They're really roasting you about Hoopla here.
I just started to look at that, and I see Hoopla in all caps here. I heard of Hoopla. I think it's some sort of fruit, I think is what Sheena was telling me. And Kelly and Sheena.
This fruit in New Zealand?
I am not sure. I don't know if it's just a New Jersey thing or what it is, but they rave about it. They rave about this food that they talk about.
Must be good. Must be really good. Must be versatile.
Was there a what was your thoughts on some of the characters? Was there a specific character that kind of stood out to you other than Wonder Woman, or you know, getting to know some of these other characters that came in? I know we didn't even mention like the background of her growing up as a child and seeing her mother and getting a little bit of that glimpse. I thought was interesting as well, because some of that stuff I didn't know, and I don't know how much of that tweaks or changed from like the main storylines of Wonder Woman, but I didn't know like those bracelets that she wears is to like dampen her powers or whatever. Like, I don't know, was that always a thing, or was that just for
I'm pretty sure it is explored a little bit in the movies.
When she like clings
as well from memory. That's what they sort of are, like I'm pretty sure that is quite common that they are like a power dampener because she is of the gods. But I thought that the stuff with Cheetah was really, really interesting and really well integrated into the story, and like another really good like emotional beat for someone that she never expected to see again, to be in this situation. And you know, it's someone that everyone knows that Wonder Woman clashes with over and over again, and she still just really wants to help her, but we still get these really, you know, like visually sort of like polarizing panels of them like fighting and clashing to go with the kind of dialogue where she's like and like this panel in particular here I think is really this way.
So
but I don't know, there's just so much sort of to be looking for the dogs. They're just outside. There's a lot to take in and a lot to discuss within only like a 4-issue kind of story. But I do like the way that the side characters kind of give Diana that like relatability, because it is always kind of a risk with using Wonder Woman as a main character that with the wrong kind of like direction, that she comes off as really like, you know, like high and mighty, which is not like enjoyable or like relatable to read about. So having the sort of the side characters that he has written and created, I think were really like well executed, and like really gave us the sort of like heartfelt, you know, like relatable kind of Diana that we really like enjoy reading about, because I don't know, like I usually only pick up stories that Diana is kind of like in a group. It's not that often that I read her as like a leading character, just because, you know, like I like reading her when she's written by like a woman or someone that can use different kind of like gazes or, you know, like different methods of like storytelling for her. But a lot of the like mainstream comics that you can get for Diana are written by like male writers that I don't enjoy reading their style of writing. So it's sort of she's not someone that I would usually pick up, which was like another. So now I'm rambling. That was like another reason. Good. Like when I saw it solicited, I was like, I don't know about this.
Sure.
Yeah. I just really enjoyed the way that he structured the characters, and I used them to
agreed. I wanted to point out too, I like that in throughout the series we got to see little bits of well, one, other superheroes, other characters that we had mentioned, you know, the seeing her with the Batman's belt, that whole thing I thought was really cool. And to see her like wearing it, you know, this whole thing, I thought it was really interesting. And then the other thing that I liked too was that they brought in the Lasso of Truth towards I think it was like the third episode or third issue, and how I think was it D that was using it to like, you know, find out the truths for that guy Thaden, and then later D even uses it on Wonder Woman, which I thought was really cool too, to just get like that honest answer. But I just like that all that kind of came into play, and it wasn't necessarily just Wonder Woman's tip, you know, using it, Wonder Woman's weapon or whatever, you know, but that it was kind of used in some other ways to tell the story, you know, of some of these characters and get some truths.
Hang on. Sorry, my dogs are just arguing with the...
Oh, no. You're okay. Let's see. Henry's saying, I still didn't forgive you for not telling me about the emotional damage. Yeah, that is definitely, that is, yeah. I feel you there, Henrith. Comics versus the World is in the chat. What's going on? Says, I realize I'm late, but I'll be checking this out on the replay. I love this book. That's awesome. Yeah, no worries. Definitely check it out. Yeah, I was just reading his comment there.
Sorry, my neighbors had like a 6-month-old Labrador puppy, and so my dogs and their dog were like having a little like scratch through the fence, which was like not ideal. So
are they okay? Yeah,
they're fine.
Okay.
It's more like noise, like, you know, when they like bark at each other because they want to play rather than actually like scratch. It's more like that. So, yeah, because they're all just sort of learning to get along, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. I was reading some of the comments, and Henrith was saying, I still didn't forgive you for not telling me about this emotional damage. And Gore too was talking. The cheetah story is definitely deep.
For sure. Yeah. Oh, I know. She said that quite a few times. Yeah. It is. It's a really like emotional story.
Yeah. I wanted to mention like the big, one of the big curveballs within this, and the idea of these when we find out, I think it's issue 3, right, where we find out that the Hydras, these monsters that have been like attacking the people, essentially, she finds out are her Amazon sisters, and how they've been transformed from these bombings and everything that happened in the world. I thought that was a huge reveal, and I was talking to Jason about this before too, where we're just like, oh my gosh, so this time, you know, the past couple issues, she's like killing and fighting her own, you know, Amazon sisters. Like it was like, I didn't see that coming. Like
No, I didn't either, and it was like really heart-wrenching. Like,
yep.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
And it's like, how do you like, you know, putting yourself in Diana's shoes? It's like, how do you now deal with this? And you know, you're feeling for humanity. You want to help them, and you know, and then obviously at the same time, you're trying to get to this island that you had promised them. You're taking them, you know, along with, and you find out now that these creatures that you've been like fending off or fighting, that they are in fact the ones you were hoping to see. I thought that was wild. Gore.
That reminds me. Sorry, this panel. I think this is one that really got Hen. But with that, you know, like using the other DC characters, but this one, I think this is the end of issue 3.
Mm-hmm. That's when Batman, Batman's alive at that moment. So and at that point we find out that it was Diana who killed Superman, right? Like it was right around that time, which that was another really big thing, like seeing where kind of a lot of this led to, and her, you know, her having only herself to blame in that sense for, you know, being kind of in the situation she's in, or a big part of it. You know, and like, you know, she wakes up and doesn't remember anything, you know, like I like how the story was told. Like, I really like that we were like kind of in suspense of figuring out, you know, even after the first issue, I'm just thinking like, well, like, we still don't know anything about how Diana got to where she is. Why was she just discovered now? How come she doesn't have her powers? Like, there were so many questions that had come to mind right off the bat, which I guess obviously is a great thing, you know, as for coming from a writer, to be able to have us have these questions go on in our heads. So let's see, the other thing, they had Pegasus come back. Is it Pegasus?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Wow, I can't remember his name. But yeah, that's such a great panel. Like this big, massive splash here
Oh yeah,
is
yeah.
just insane.
Oh, I like the layout.
Um,
I like how he's laid that out there.
yeah.
Kind of
Did
like
it come
crooked
up? Did
panels.
it come through like that when you're reading it on the iPad?
I ended up reading this like full page by full page.
Yeah.
So it's just top bottom.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh,
this was let me see here. I like the there was a scene here with where we see the walls of Superman's
the fortress.
Yeah. Like that was really cool. I'll trying to like just some of that. That's when both Cheetah and Wonder Woman were on Pegasus, and they're going to the door to kind of try to figure out the answers to this. So
find out like what's happened and all those sorts of things. Yeah, I really enjoy the way that instead of using like instead of using too many flashback scenes to explain, she's still just discovering what's happened as the story progresses. Like it feels like a really natural and far more emotional way to tell the story and explore the story rather than like just doing the like tell. You know how sometimes they just sort of tell you what's happened rather than letting you kind of like go along the journey with the character, which is kind of one of the ways in which this book kind of really does kind of feel like you're like in it, like you're watching a movie or you forget that you're reading it. Yeah, so I just think that's really, I'm just sort of really fixated on like the awe that I have for the way that he's kind of told the story. So it sort of makes my brain go.
The other thing I was just flipping through and saw like some of the fight scenes when she does beat up Superman, and how she has like these glowing eyes at one point. And I can't find the page here, but I thought it was so. I think it's in the 3rd issue, kind of towards somewhere in the back end. But that was obviously like bloody fight. And it gets to the point where Superman doesn't want to fight her. He's trying to, hold off, but she has such a rage now at this point because of the bombings that had happened, the whole war, this whole like war situation, and then what had happened to her family, and the Amazons. So she had just lost it, and so again, kind of what we had mentioned before, like I was not expecting it to be her that was the one to have killed Superman, which that's like super dark, like, and she like just loses it. And that's another thing too, like as a character as a whole, and again kind of going big picture here, like relatable to the fact that as humans, like it's like we all have like these moments where we certainly can lose it or lose control in a sense, and yet at the same time have all this. Like she's such a good person, but when pushed to a degree, and especially with her, it had to do with her family. She like kind of blanked out on that, and it's just interesting to see how dynamic or how polarizing her character can become in a scene like that, where she literally kills Superman, and like punching a hole through his chest was like, whoa. But so to see like that end of it, but then also see the wise, or just the wise side of her as well, is total, both ends of the spectrum there.
Such a good like character. It's a good concise like character study, I guess, on Wonder Woman as well, to a point, because it does go through all of those beats of things that you kind of question about how powerful she is and how she deals with having that power, and she's not infallible. Like she did lose control, like because she was so emotional. So I think that's really interesting way. Also, like just the way that we kind of have like even like this use of text in the background and stuff, I think is really interesting and cool, and just like like even though it's like a really powerful emotional scene, it's still like cool art at the same time as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Can you go to and I'm asking you since you have the book, I think it just looks better on your end. In the third issue, it's like towards the actually I think it's the last page or maybe second to last page of before the to be continued. Oh no, it is the last page of the third issue. Where she is standing there with the lasso. Yeah, I love that panel. Like the artwork of that is what totally, yeah. And like seeing like the bones, like the skeleton, like it looks so dark, it's such a dark image, like it's
yeah, it really is.
So but that was something that really stood out to me was that particular panel. And she's now ready, like she's like, let's go, they're ready to like essentially resolve or move forward now with resolving what
and like the combination of how her outfit is made up as well, like she's got her thing and then like her sleep suit thing and then like Bruce's belt and this is Clark's outfit here, I think, and like that whole combination is sort of really cool, really well done. Like
that's what I liked about too, like the being back to like the post-apocalyptic stuff, like nothing survives, and this is her just like scrapping together all these pieces that she finds, and she's like ready to go to war essentially, with whatever it is. And it's just, I thought it was really creative to like include those characters in the way that they were written, rip it. Yeah, that was wild. There are definitely some gorier parts in this for sure. Without ostracizing the readership. Spot and tone, though, would surprise if not shock the general public that doesn't consume comics. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not your typical comic book in general.
It's one of the things I like about those Black Label books is they do a lot of the stuff that like give writers a lot of freedom to explore stuff that wouldn't usually be consumed, but they've got that readership because like it's been semi-successful with the other kind of Black Label books, so it's sort of like they know that someone's gonna somehow resonate with this weird wild story that they want to tell. So
I feel like the Black Label stuff in general, I just feel like I've become more and more a fan of, and I'm like, I think I'm just gonna start reading all the Black Label stuff because I find myself liking all of it, a majority of it.
Anyway. There's if you want another Harley book from the Black Label, I think it's Harley, Quinn, and the Birds of Prey, Hunt for Harley, which is by Connor and Amanda Connor and Jimmy Powell, like that artistic team. But they did like the one-off like Black Label story, which was really, really good because it took the Harley that they wrote. Sorry, I've gone totally off track now. But it took the Harley that they wrote for like the New 52 and that sort of thing, and they like made it more adult and more dark and that sort of thing. They got to explore some of that under the Black Label, which was really, really cool. I would totally recommend getting that. It's pretty cute hardcover as well.
I mean, I need to start reading more of their stuff anyways. They seem to be a great duo for this. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Okay. And you like that? That was good, huh?
Yeah, it's super fun. Look.
Oh yeah, that's great. All right, it's on my list. It's on my list.
Yeah. I like the way that it gives this like I don't know how much of it they're going to be doing in the future, but I like how it gave those like artistic duos license to do that stuff that they might have had previously been like shut down for in the sort of like editorial process. So
Gotcha. I'll put it on my list.
Onto the fourth issue. Very emotional fourth issue. Oh, look at this panel. Like, look how good this is.
Oh yeah.
That one there.
Yeah. That's where they're like,
and it's such a war. Yeah, totally. And like even with Thaden. And like how he's kind of progressed through the story and his role in this last like issue and stuff, I think is really, really cool as well.
That's what I stood out to me so much was his character. Like he was this total villain in the beginning, and he just learned. He's changed. He just straight changes so much, which all goes back to again like what I was saying with what she said, like seeing a person for their whole lifetime versus a single event or whatever. So that was night and day for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that it was just so great, and I just really loved that sort of that type of story and like characterization. I think is just so valuable to have in a story, because like someone might identify with that or whatever. I think it's really cool. So yeah, that's kind of what I was saying before. And I don't know, like just the whole look at this. The whole last issue is just like,
oh
yeah, just really big.
It looks so much better
a lot
on
happening.
On the full pages like that. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool in the like magazine size format that the Black Label stuff often comes out in. It's really cool to read. It's annoying to store them, but yeah, they're really cool to read. Like I keep all mine. I don't have a box for them, so I keep them there on the bookshelf because it's just easier to store them that way.
Yeah. That was the one thing with
the
DC Black Label stuff. Seems like an awesome sad stories for sure. Yeah, but so that's the other thing. It's next on my list for sure. Beta Ray.
Yeah, totally. The only thing I don't like about Marvel is that they really don't go as hard for the cool hardcovers like DC does. So I'm like, because I saw Specs Comics, he posted that he had like the little paper trade, and I was like, I want that in hardcover.
Right.
Rude. So,
it's a missed opportunity on Marvel's part, because they would certainly have more of my money if they did better job with some of their hardcover stuff.
I would agree, but like honestly, like I have so many freaking their trades like down the bottom of my bookshelf is just Marvel. But I would love it more if they had cool hardbacks rather than focusing on the like omnibuses and the like real sporadic like oversized hardcovers that they do. I wish that they would just like do more of this.
Yeah,
please.
I'm liking more of this. I'm liking the 3 to 5 issue, kind of mini series, and like you were saying in the beginning, like where you can just jump in. There's no other required reading per se for the most part. Like you were saying that for Beta Ray too, right? Like I could just jump into Beta Ray and be good on its own.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it would be the same as with this. You'll be like, oh, I didn't know that about this character.
Sure.
But it's still an enjoyable story. Like it's still well written. It's still like emotionally driven. Like it's still like there's relatable parts to it. So the art is really cool. Like, I only read it because Dan from Comic Shop News, he knew obviously that I liked Wonder Woman Dead Earth, and he messaged me and he was like, oh my god, I just read the second issue of Beta Ray Bill, like this is must read, like just pick it up, because I know you like Daniel Warren Johnson. So I was like, Dan says I have to read it, just have to read it. And then I read I think the first 2 issues, and then I said to Sheena, I was like, Sheena, you need these. And I think I even sent her like the previews link, like the codes for the reprints. I was like, go and get these, like you need them, they're really good, like promise. And I was right, of course. So thanks, Dan. Like just it's just really solid.
He's good.
So I just love how you can pick an author and they can pick a character, and if you like the author and you vibe with their writing, like you're almost guaranteed to have a new love for a new character that you wouldn't previously have been.
100%.
So
no, 100%.
Really
we were just talking about it. I was interviewing Fire Guy Ryan on my Origins show just before this one, and that was one of the things that we pointed out with like giving advice to people that are new to comics or like just getting into it, where I feel like a lot of people think automatically that when you're getting into comics as a new fan, you have to necessarily pick like a character and just start reading that character. And we were saying that it actually, from how I've now approached it from where I was in the beginning of when I first got into comics, I look more at who the creative team is, because a lot of that it's like, if like I said, Jeff Lemire, like I will read anything Jeff Lemire does. I completely trust and have faith in everything that he puts out, and I'm not afraid to spend money on whatever it is, at least to give it a shot, and so I find myself, as you just said, I find myself exploring more characters and more stories and more genres, even because I'm just following writers. I'm starting to follow certain writers. So, because there's certainly, I'm sure really good Spider-Man stories and really bad Spider-Man stories. And I would prefer to just try to find the really good. And if I can, based, on the creative teams, then I'm going to kind of put that first as a priority. Yeah, I should say.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I always think it's kind of funny because quite often people ask me like, what Marvel book should I read? Like, what Marvel books are a must read? Because obviously everyone knows that I really love the MCU, but I'm always like, my Marvel recommendation list is basically just anything that Tom Taylor has written and anything that Kelly Thompson has written. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all of these stories, and it's just like by Kelly Thompson, by Kelly
Yeah.
Thompson, by Tom Taylor, by Tom Taylor, and I'm like,
But that says something, right? I mean, that's like,
yeah,
again, for someone new, like if I could go back and do it all over again, like, I don't think I would necessarily just say, okay, I just want to read just Daredevil and nothing else but Daredevil. Yeah. Like I would want, I'm much more pickier now with like what arcs I want to read from a character like Daredevil or something like that, based on
totally.
the writers. So
yeah, like with Daredevil, for example, like I'm really not interested, and I know this is blasphemous, but I'm just not interested in reading anything by Frank Miller. So I like Brian Michael Bendis. I know not everyone does, but I do. So usually if I want a jumping on point for a character, I will try and look for what Bendis wrote, because Bendis has written so much for Marvel. Like, he was there for so long. Like, so, I mean, I know that I like his writing because I really love Miles Morales. I really love Ultimate Spider-Man. So that's my like usual, like for Marvel, I'll kind of look for him as a jump on point. So for Daredevil, he's my jump on point. So yeah,
that's a great.
And then I usually go from there. So
yeah, no, that's a great. And I was been talking to John about that too, about Bendis's Spider-Man run. That's something on my list for this year to read, because I've heard so many good things. And I'm not really familiar with like Bendis's work. Like, I know who he is and I know he's done a lot, but I just wasn't into comics during the time that he was at Marvel and doing all this other stuff. So to me, a lot of it's like, I'm just a baby. I'm brand new to so much of it. So, but to hear you say like what you said, like you found a writer that you appreciate, that you like, and you're just going to go for it and read anything that Bendis writes, because you just trust him at that point. So that's definitely the same how I feel. Yeah.
His New Avengers as well is like, that's one of my favorites, because he uses characters that are now some of my favorites, like Jessica Drew and stuff like that. So it's just it is really cool to find like a creative team that you really, really like. So
they're talking about.
Can I open the Prison packet? The what? Sorry. Oh yes. She doesn't want to interrupt, so she wrote me a note, but I couldn't read it.
That's cute.
yeah, it's super cute. I was just gonna say as well, like for the Bendis Ultimate Spider-Man run, I just wanted to flex that I have the whole run in single issues.
Wow.
I picked it up maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. I think, and it was just like a shop up north, this guy who really specializes in back issues, and I just like, on the off chance, I was like, oh, like what Ultimate Spider-Man by Bendis stuff do you have? And he was like, oh, I've got the whole run, like minus about 6 issues, and like it ended up costing me like $2 an issue to get the whole run, which is like a bargain now, considering like Tom Holland has like come out and said like in multiple different interviews that like a lot of his Spider-Man is based on Bendis's Spider-Man, and like they would like screenshot panels from Ultimate Spider-Man to use in reference for the film. So
that's cool.
I like look at the box of my Ultimate Spider-Man in the bottom of my wardrobe, and I'm like, I love that for me. So
love it.
Yeah, when I told my like usual comic shop that I got them and like the price that I got them for, he was like, "Wow!" I was like, I know.
How many issues is it?
I was really stoked about that. So, I think it's like 250 issues or something. Like, it's a lot of issues. It's I probably have got the number like completely wrong, but it's supposed to be like the longest running. Like Bendis wrote the most
I heard that
Spider-Man character
for Spider-Man.
So even in the main continuity, like the 616 universe, Dan Slott has written the most Spider-Man, but for Spider-Man as the character, Bendis actually wrote the most.
Okay.
So
Nice.
Although I'd be interested to know how many Nick Spencer wrote for his run. Not that we love Nick Spencer's run that much. It's not great, not bad, but
I've never read it, but I've just heard.
Yeah, there's some good arcs and some bad arcs. So yeah,
that's fair. Can't win them all.
We've got way off topic now, but anyway, that's the whole.
Okay.
That's the fun of live streaming with me, is that I can't
No, I
stay
love
on
it. I
topic,
love it.
so lots of fun.
Well, so let me ask you,
But-
like, for Dead Earth here, like, what were your your general thoughts on kind of the ending here, and kind of, just generally speaking, the last issue, how things went down.
You know, when you read something and you read like the finale and the conclusion, and you like close it, and you're like, you don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah.
And you have to think about it for a while. That's kind of how I felt at the end of this. Like, I was like, much to consider.
Yeah.
Wow. Because it's such a sad ending, and it's super polarizing. I think the way in which it kind of concludes, like with how do you say her name? Diana's mother. Hippolyta.
Hippolyta. Yeah.
Hippolyta.
Nice.
The part with Hippolyta, I think, was the bit that I really had to be like, wow.
Yeah.
It was just really like, the whole sort of ending with it. Yes. The whole ending, like, just with that reveal with the Amazonians and stuff, and then the way that she had to kind of face off with her mother, and I just think that was really sad, as Jason said. So it's like, or as Sheena said, also this. This also works as a great describing word. What did Gore say? Back to this.
Brubaker.
And Brubaker is another like writer that if he's done an arc, I'm like, oh yep, okay, that goes on the list. Like, anyway, back to this. Wiping tears. That's also another great reaction to the ending here. Like, I think this big panel here is really like,
stunning.
Yeah, stunning. Yeah. Like super powerful. Like, just like the bits of like the monsters or like her sisters and stuff like that, sort of all just like laying around, and that is just really like gruesome, but also just really, really sad. But then like with our side characters and stuff, I did think that this was a really sort of like powerful way to end it. As well. So I thought that was really, really good.
Yeah, her just kind of offering.
What were your
her
sort
hand
of thoughts
at the
on that?
Yeah, no, like as you like what you were just showing there, like that piece towards the end there. Actually, I think even just like the last page of like, will you help me revive this dead Earth? Like, I think it buttons up perfectly with kind of obviously the whole world that we're in right now. And again, going back to the attitude that Wonder Woman has of just like believing and having faith in and hope, for a better world and humanity as a whole, to kind of have her faith in that she continues to stand her ground on that. And someone like Dee is obviously gone through a lot, and so just to see her character kind of open up here at the end, like I loved it. I mean, I thought it was really well done, just as a whole, and again, as how everything's told. I was just flipping through some of the other. Oh yeah, I just saw that panel that you had where all the violence and death laying around her as she opens. I like where she's again. I mean, I know we showed the panel, but like I loved where she's like, look this up, literally using that skull rope with the skull, like, and just slashing,
smash
some of these bad guys down. That one was really cool.
That's on it. It's so we got the same one.
Yep. And
I just love the way that he does all the movement and stuff, and the art. Like, I find it really.
Oh, this one too. Hey, Alan, what's up, Alan?
Yes, that one's super.
How stunning is that?
Right.
This is where it just all really won me over. Like, I mean, I was already like, on board as I continued to read in terms of the artwork, but like some of this stuff was just so beautiful at the end. Yeah. Like these fight scenes were just epic. They really were epic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I forgot the other thing too. I was going to mention was this whole thing with like Superman having like a piece of himself, a robot. I didn't fully like follow along with that, but like, so I mean, is that like Superman's memory, or like he had planted?
I'm not 100% up on Superman lore, unfortunately,
Okay.
but from what I can understand,
Like,
yeah. So in the Fortress, Superman does have his like AI, like Kryptonian technology, which is
mhm.
kind of like a backup of his memories, kind of thing.
Okay.
Because like I don't know if did you read All Star Superman at all by Grant Morrison? I read
Not
that with
yet.
Dan for the Inked Comic panels, I think this time last year.
Oh, okay.
And that kind of gave me a little bit better knowledge on what the situation is with like the Fortress and the AI and stuff like that. Yeah, I love him though. I think
So
he's so
great.
cute. But yeah, I think usually he does kind of have like some kind of like computer AI backup type
Okay.
knowledge system that's the Kryptonian technology. So I think
Right. Right.
that's pretty standard Superman lore. I'm interested to see if Tom Taylor brings that out in the Son of Kal-El series that he's doing at the
Oh
moment.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to know if there's like that for John or anything, or like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'd be interested
I've
to
really
know.
been
I just need to
enjoying that.
sneeze. Sorry.
Bless you. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. That's a really good series, by the way. I've just picked up the annual yesterday, so I'm excited to read that. I don't often like annuals, but I'm pretty excited to read that one. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So I don't think I read the annual, but I've been reading the series. But yeah, I skipped the annual. Let me know what you think of that, because I should probably read that. I should probably just read that.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
excited. I'm excited
She
to have Dick and John like interact, and I can't remember
yeah.
if it's in the Son of Kal-El series or in the Nightwing series, but he's been posting like
Oh.
previews for the covers, and I'm like,
Oh
yay,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
exciting. So yeah, I think that will be really cool. Yeah,
Um,
so I guess
and
that kind of wraps up most of our thoughts. Did you have any kind of like final
I
panels?
just
Oh, it's such a good panel.
yeah, I just wanted to show this was like the part. This was Thaden, and when he had kind
Yes.
of thrown himself in front, and getting cut there at the end. So like,
Yeah.
definitely very heartfelt for that character, and
Yeah.
how far he's come along. Again, just like he I think Thaden was definitely like a highlight for me of just seeing
Yeah.
the turn of this character through and through. Also, I think is that Nubia that's there, the Queen Nubia, which is on the this side here, or this side here,
I
where
think
her eyes
so.
are like, yeah, like she was kind of like the general, or like the right hand general of for the
Yes.
army. But I thought she was badass in this, like just
She's
as a
cool.
yeah, as a I mean, she's like standing her ground
Yeah, it is
on the
Nubia.
side. It is, right? Okay, yeah. Which, by the
Yeah.
way, Nubia, again, being very new to like a lot of these stories, I started to read Nubia, the new a series that's out right now, thanks to J Rails, Q, and Sheena. They had talked a lot about that, so I was going with that. So thanks to reading that, and thanks to them for recommending it, I was at least familiar with who Nubia was, because I didn't know before this. So that was kind of good timing, at least on for me.
You should also, if this comes up on Comixology, you should pick this up. It's another like one shot, like sort of out of continuity type story, and it is part of the like young adult line, but this is such a good, powerful story. Like this is a really cool Nubia story. Like I would definitely recommend reading it, even if you don't know anything about it. It's by L.L. McKinney, who is also a really amazing author, just in general. So yeah, that was I read this with Lila, and there's some pretty important stuff that happens in the story, which I thought was cool to read with my daughter. So she kind of has like a little because she's very privileged and sheltered and stuff. So I thought it was really cool to read it with her, and for her to have questions and stuff was really great in that comic medium. So
nice.
Nubia is such a great character. Like
cool.
She's just the queen, I swear. Like
I
really like. I don't necessarily love the way that they introduced her like way back when, but I love the way that she is written now. She's such an icon. So yeah,
that's cool.
I'm waiting for like a really like stunning hardback of the current Nubia series to come out, because I think that they will do something really really cool for her. So I'm hoping anyway. So
Nice,
I think
nice.
they'll be great. I saw that Sheena got the Nubia Funko Pop as well, and I'm like, oh, I
Oh
want
yeah.
it. It's so cute, but I'm not supposed to be buying any at the moment. So,
Oh no.
yeah. But she's so cute. So such a cute Funko.
Here's
I love
another
J
cool
Rail's
thing.
recommendations like all the time.
Oh yeah,
That's
same.
such a good panel.
She's great.
I love that.
Love the blues, like the colors that are used here as she's on. It is Pegasus, right? Or did I just make that up, or is it Pegasus? I thought it was.
Well, it is a Pegasus, but I can't remember what her name is off the top of my head. Yeah, I can't remember, but.
And these are some of the scenes here from Batman. Batman putting her into into the hospital.
That part's really heart-wrenching, eh?
Yeah.
This panel here as well, I think, is really sad. Straight up.
Yeah. And she's like asking her mother to step down, right? Or to
that's kind of the bit that I think like that really stuck with me after reading this book initially, was that kind of bit where I was like, much to think about. Like, really sad. So
yeah. Well, this is definitely a series that like I said, I would recommend to anybody. Anybody watching this on the replay or whatever who haven't read this, I think it's well worth your time. I think it's something that, again, you don't have to be a fan of DC per se. You don't have to have the knowledge of Wonder Woman or kind of history of, because the book itself is all self-contained and does a really good job of keeping it that way, so that you're not just lost or whatever. So I didn't feel lost like at all. So it's just, which is great. So I have to stop watching these shows. You'll make me want to get all the books. My wallet, don't work that way. Inji, you're not alone there. My wallet doesn't talk to me anymore. So so I really think this is something I would reread.
Like,
like fully. Again and again.
100%. Yeah, I think it kind of goes in.
Oh, we just lost her. Maybe she got a phone call. Here's another cool artwork here. Seeing some of the blacks, black background, solid backgrounds.
Oh yeah, okay, we could.
There you go.
Sorry, my phone just did the weird little. You know how it did it last time as well. It must be at the 1 hour mark. Maybe it's just my StreamYard account. I don't know, but anyway. Yeah.
Oh wow, we're at the 1 hour mark. This flew by the way.
yeah, fully. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I think it's one of those kind of books that's definitely on my list of stuff that I read like annually or like semi-annually, because I've kind of got. Yeah, I've got kind of like a whole stack of those now, like novels and comics that I do like a reread. Yes, that's
so deep. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, like he's just like, this is it. This is the end. Like, you pour a drink and sit. Like that was so deep, so deep.
Yeah, just waits for the end. Like his little classic, like.
Which is crazy because it's Batman, so it's like when he knows it's the end, it's just like. That's how bad it was, to really give perspective, So no, I'm with you. I think this is definitely something to read, or that I know that I will read time and time again. And so that'll give me the excuse when I buy it, the hardcover edition, I will reread it then. That'll be my reread. Yeah. This has been awesome. I definitely, like I said before, highly recommend it. Thank you for breaking it down with me, because just had to talk about it, and I'm going to continue just telling more and more people, you got to read it.
Read Wonder Woman, Dead Earth, read DC Black Label books. We like them. They're great. Definitely recommend. Yeah, Harley is so good. Oh my God. I wish that we were going to get a Poison Ivy book from that same artist, but I don't think that it's going to happen, unfortunately, because he did say that he wasn't doing any more stuff with the big publishers anymore, which is pretty sad. So
really?
Yeah. I don't really know. I didn't really look into it too much, but he did put it out after Harleen was published that he didn't want to work with them anymore. So I was like, okay, you do you. We still get some cool work from you.
True.
And creative. Awesome.
True.
Oh, look.
Very true.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, gang.
What do we have to look forward to from you, Justin, in the next couple of weeks?
We are picking up Omni X-Men again. We kind of took a little hiatus just for the holidays and things like that. So we'll be back, John and I, this Tuesday. We're getting into talking about post-apocalyptics. We're getting into Days of Future Past. So we are at issue 141. Yeah, we're going to be breaking that down this Tuesday. And I already started rereading. And I'm just like, oh, this is so dark and, very much like this book, like very dark, hard times and sad. So yeah, that's a classic. That's another series that I would say I'd reread again and again. So I'm excited for that. So that's definitely like, a highlight. I'm doing a lot more just like reading and hanging out with friends, like what we're doing here, and just trying to like talk comics. I'm reading some. I know you mentioned you're not a fan of the Frank Miller stuff. I am exploring the Daredevil Frank Miller stuff I've never read before. So me and my buddy Daryl, Read Your Comics is his name over on Instagram, and a bunch of others are joining in to do that. I don't know if you saw, Victoria, but me and Paul, PJ Morris, we had just talked about Doctor Strange, The Oath, written by Brian K. Vaughan. And I was going to ask you if you ever read that before.
I haven't read it, but I feel like I must now
go to read it. It's only 5 issues. It's a 5-issue miniseries.
Yeah.
And it's right up your alley. I think you would love it. I loved it. Okay. It's such a great, and we just did a breakdown of it earlier this week. So it's easy. It's like digestible.
Is it on Marvel Unlimited?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna, because we just got given an iPad for my daughter, so I've got Marvel Unlimited on the iPad now. Because on my previous tablet, Marvel Unlimited wasn't compatible with it or whatever. So now we've got it on there, and we've been reading the Jeff the Shark little thing on there as well, and there's a Lucky the Pizza Dog comic on there that we've been reading. So now I'm like, I can read other things.
Yeah. Well, put it on the list. I think you'll really like it.
Ooh. Trigger warning, or is it because I said Frank Miller? Maybe he's talking about you. Maybe that's me. The other thing I wanted to, is it trigger warning for Gore because he doesn't like Brian K. Vaughan?
Yes, that's it. No, you're right. That's it. It. I forgot about that. The other thing I was going to mention was this Thursday coming up. So we put together this fun little what I'm calling the movie review crew.
I love that. So cool.
Yeah. So me, Haley, Alan, who's in the chat, Jason, who's in the chat, we are going to be breaking down. I had just watched Spider-Man 3 for the first time yesterday.
Had you never watched it before?
Nope. So yeah. So we're gonna break it down this Thursday, and
wow,
we'll have
to discuss.
We'll have a discussion.
Wow. That's a time.
That's a time.
Oh, okay. That'll be a great listen though. I'll probably just listen, because I quite often will. That's why I don't often comment, because I'm often just listening to it while I'm supposed to be working. So oh, John awkwardly looks for my invite. Must have got lost in the post.
Jason putting 10 out of 10 over there. He loved it. I watched the movie and
my daughter and I watched half of it while we were eating dinner the other night, while my husband was working a late shift, and it got to a bedtime, so I turned it off, and then we just never finished it. I was like, wow, that was a lot. We got to a lot. There's still a lot more to go, so we'll save that for the time. So well, I can't believe I'm pretty sure I saw that in cinemas way back when. I did.
Yeah, I know that. So that was 2007. I was just getting into college at that point, so I was maybe I know I was in a whole different world. I wasn't even into comics at that point, so it wasn't a priority to me. But but anyways, So
I feel like that when people talk about the Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield, because I didn't watch that in cinemas, because I think when it came out I had just had my daughter, and so I was on a whole nother plane, but I have a real distinct memory of when it came. I must have just come out on DVD or whatever, and I'm pretty sure we downloaded it very legally, and I remember laying on my couch with baby Lila sleeping next to me. I'm pretty sure I was just crying. I was why is not what I needed right now.
Oh my god! Did you see my reel?
I don't know.
I think you were. I think it was overnight.
No.
So I think you were sleeping.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh no, I did see it actually. That was so good.
I don't. So John just did a remix to it. He just took mine and he did a remix. So if you didn't see that, you should check that out as well. Yeah, okay. And just saying, I bet it was in a spam folder. Check that. That's hilarious. So funny. What about you? What do you have?
I love
you have
when you guys.
Oh yeah.
I was just gonna say, I love when you guys remix each other's reels. It makes me so happy. It's so fun. It's so great. I don't have too much. I'm just trying to do some more vlogs. Did you see that I have posted like 2 vlogs recently? They're not very good ones, but I still did it. So
no, I love that you're doing it. I love that you're back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my binging, my V binging here soon.
And then I am working on, so this is not comic related, but I'm rereading the Stormlight Archive series by Brendan Sanderson, and they're like big novels. They're like 1,000-page novels. And so I'm doing like a vlog per book for that at the moment. So that's pretty much the only other thing that I'm really working on. Cool. And I do want to do some kind of like Ultimate Spider-Man reread at some point, because the new omnibus comes out.
Oh, soon. I heard.
Like they're like reprinting the omnibus finally, so that comes out soon. So I feel like that's a good time to get people to reread it.
So that's on my list. That's something I want to read. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I get the omnibus. Ooh. I've gone down such a dangerous road with all these hardcovers and omnibus.
I know.
Not good.
Yeah.
Did you see my Sandman?
Yes, you got it for Christmas, right? Did Lindsay get it for you?
Yeah. Yes, she did.
Stunning.
Yes, she did. How
Queen
beautiful
Lindsay
is this book? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
They're so cool. The guy that owns my comic shop has them, and he brought his like collection of them in for me to have a look at one time.
Oh, nice.
I was like, they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my god, such a good Christmas present. That's amazing. You must have been like Santa Kane.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. Santa Lindsay.
Yep.
So beautiful. Imagine having the whole set of them on your shelf, like
one day. And I'll tell you this, because I know we've had discussions and I've witnessed your shopping and building of shelves. I am looking into getting a bookshelf, because I legit need one now. And so I'm gonna do something. Yeah. I'm just gonna copy you straight up.
Do the thing.
I might do something behind. I might move these boxes. I don't know yet. I might use a side. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I need to do something, because I have a lot of these hardcovers and I have like a bunch of trade paperbacks now too, because of all these like that Barnes and Noble sale. Like I went nuts, like all these sales that have recently happened. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna build a shelf. That's what I'm gonna do.
I did ignore this empty frame here, but I did copy you. I've got 3 little comics up on this little shelf over here now.
Yeah, nice.
But I keep changing them. Like I had I think I had some Saga ones up there, and now I've got some Spider-Man ones up there. So it's fun.
Love it. Yeah, I need to change mine out. I just love the X-Men. That's why I keep them.
So classic.
I know, right?
They're so great.
They are.
Yeah, I've got the whole collection now in one of my long boxes, thanks to you.
Yeah.
So I like pulled them out the other day, and I was like, "Wow, I've got these too. Love them." Yeah.
This is why I love our influencing of each other. It costs us a lot of money, but that's okay. Henrith says, by the way, jealous noises for both of your collections. Thanks, Hen. Inja's out. Bye, Inja. So yeah, this was awesome. Thanks for doing this. We should tell the people that we're gonna aim for early February, right? I think we even picked a date at this point, so February 5th or something like that. So we'll definitely have more. So anybody interested, I feel like I know this was on your list, but I feel like I kind of like jumped into like, hey, let's do this. So it's totally your call. We could talk about it later, but if you have any ideas or plans or things that you want to read, or we could do the Bendis or whatever we want to do. A lot of different.
Do Ultimate Spider-Man.
That's what I was just thinking. We could totally do that.
I'm probably going to be the go, because that's what I'm feeling like reading. So and I can read a lot of it. Because I'm like, between now and early February, like I could get a lot of Ultimate Spider-Man reading in there, so that'll be good.
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So we'll post the dates and stuff.
Cool.
But, yeah.
Cool.
And that'll be on your channel as well, which will be
yeah.
fun.
Yep.
Yes. Cool. All
Awesome.
right. So this has been really great. Thank you to everyone that has joined us. Watch out for obviously more content. Make sure you do the like and subscribe and comment if you're watching on the replay, and make sure you're following Justin and me and go
Smash
to
that
our
like
Instagrams
button.
and all of the things that you're supposed to do and I'm supposed to say. So yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Read Wonder Woman Dead Earth if you haven't already. And yes, we will catch you in the next one.
Sounds good. Later, everybody.